Here's a question that's kind of been nagging at me lately. For, I guess, about a year now, we've all been told the same thing. You have to show up in AI search. It's
Mhm.
all about the AAO, right? You have
Mhm.
to make sure that ChatGPT and Gemini and all the rest are mentioning your client. And that's true. That matters. But I keep circling to a different question.
Mm.
When the AI does mention your client, does anyone actually believe what it says?
Oh, yeah, because showing up and being believed are two completely different things, and we've really kind of been treating them as the same thing.
Exactly. And there's brand new research. We love research on That Solo Life
Yes, we
that
do.
basically proves they're different. So
Oh.
today we're going to talk about what I think we're calling the believability layer.
Ooh,
It's yeah, right? The part of AI visibility that almost nobody is measuring yet. And honestly, it's why I think it might be the best news for solo PR pros all year.
absolutely. Strong promise. Let's earn it. I'm Michelle Kane.
And I'm Karen Swim. This is That Solo Life, the show for solo and small shop PR and communication pros. Let's get into it.
Okay, set it up for me. What's the research?
Okay, so the agency Burson just released a report and it's called the credibility paradox. And they partnered with this company called Profound and they ran thousands of reputation questions across seven major AI platforms. So we're talking something like 55,000 believability forecasts looking at 85 companies.
That's a really serious sample. That's not a vibe, that's data, which we love. So, what did they find that can help us?
Well, here's the headline.
Yeah.
Visibility in AI answers is, in their words, necessary but not sufficient.
Mm.
So just being mentioned is not the win. The real job now is building enough evidence around a brand that the AI's answer is actually believable to the people who matter.
Necessary, but not sufficient. Alright, I'm gonna need that on a Post-it note, but it's so true because people can hear what you say, but where's the cred to back it up?
I completely agree. But here's the part that kind of stopped me in my tracks. They looked at which kinds of claims people believe and which they don't.
Mhm.
And the least believable claims across every single industry they study were leadership and executive messaging.
The least believable, I can kind of see that actually. Who's gonna
Yeah,
believe the boss? But that's a problem for us.
it is a problem for us. And we'll dig into what they really mean and link to
Mhm.
the study so people can see the nuance there.
Yeah.
But it's across the board. And so the
Yeah.
claims scored highest for things like product, innovation, workplace recognition, third party signals. And so the proof that comes from somewhere other than the brand's own mouth. And to me, this was all about like facts, it's
Mhm.
factual stuff.
Mhm. And that's really sobering. It's like a gut punch for us in our world. Because think about how much of our time goes into creating your executive voice, making sure it's believable, using the founder's LinkedIn, the CEO thought leadership piece, making sure you get the byline for your leader. And if we're not coming across as credible, that's something we have to solve for.
Yeah, and I think for me, the key words are executive messaging.
Mhm.
So we
Mhm.
know that that's different than actual thought leadership.
Yeah.
But the research is basically telling us that that's the part the audience trusts least when an AI engine repeats it back to them.
So we've been pouring all our energy and thought into something that's the lowest credibility asset in the stack.
It's a little
Good
bit
times.
yeah, it's a little bit humbling, but I wouldn't say that it's worthless. It's the lowest
Right.
leverage thing you can do for believability, and so once you see that, I think it
Yeah.
changes where a smart solo PR pro is going to spend their limited time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, like, what do we think? I think when people hear third-party proof, it stays in the abstract, right? So, let's dig into what this really looks like on, the accounts that we're working on.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a good example, or maybe an okay example. It's not brilliant. So you it's not
Yes, it
brilliant, but
is.
it's an example. You
Oh my
you
god.
have a client that's a SaaS founder, and you wanna get them quoted everywhere, of course, because that's what you do, and of course,
Sure.
that founder wants to be known as the most innovative platform in their category. Anybody who works with tech clients knows that this actually is pretty true. So, that's an
Mhm.
executive claim. The AI can absolutely repeat that, but the
Yeah.
buyer is going to read it as marketing and discount it. But if you compare that
Mhm.
to an independent review site ranking that SaaS client or a respected trade outlet that covers a customer's actual results or even a workplace award they genuinely earned.
And you're getting the same underlying message that we're great.
That's true. Same
Sounds
truth,
good. Mm,
but it's now
yeah.
coming from third
Yeah.
party, and that's the version that a buyer and the AI engine summarizing things for that buyer actually trust. So it's not that you stop telling the story.
No, you just get someone else to tell it with you. So you're moving your message from the brand's mouth to credible outside voices, which is really, again, one of the main pillars of what we do. And then your believability benefits from it. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole shift in one sentence.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So this is where you promised it gets good for us. Why this is good news for solo PR pros.
Yeah. So if the executive voice is the least believable, what's the most believable? That's the next question, right? It's earned
Right.
media, independent coverage,
Oh,
reviews, recognition. And there's a second piece of research that quantifies just how powerful that is.
let's hear it.
Okay. So there was a 2026 study from Stacker that found that distributed earned media drove a drumroll 239% lift in AI citations compared to owned content alone.
I mean, that's not a rounding error. That's proof that our profession matters and what we do matters. And this is why
Yeah.
you need us clients. That's
Yes. And
fantastic.
then separately, Muckrack analyzed over 25 million links, and they found earned media accounts for somewhere around 82 to 84% of all AI citations.
So, what we've kind of been talking about all along, even though we've been saying, yes, you have to show up in AI search, the overwhelming majority of what AI is pulling from and credits is indeed earned. It's the stuff we make our living on, and it's what we've been telling our clients truly matters, even though they're like, just churn it out in AI. It's like, no, 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 no. It's deeper than that. It's never so
Yeah.
simple. Love it.
I mean, and that's why I keep calling this good news. A
Yeah, yeah.
239% lift is a number that, a C-suite executive is going to understand. So for
Yep.
years, we've struggled to put, like this nice, neat number on the ROI of PR. And this is one of the most quantified arguments for earned media that's ever existed. And you can walk into a budget conversation with that.
Oh, totally. And that helps to reframe the conversation that we solos usually dread. The client who's like, remind me what I'm paying you for. But now we have solid research, right? It's like we're not selling impressions or vibes or eyeballs because I've sat in meetings where clients have gone, well, what does that mean? And sometimes you're left a little lacking of like, "Oh, we hope they act on it." But now This allows us to give the precise signal that the AI economy is rewarding the
Yeah.
most when buyers, when they're going looking, AI is like, here's actual earned real information for you, not just fluff that we churn out. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
That's this thing that used to feel kind of fuzzy, earned
Yeah.
coverage,
Yeah.
is now the thing with an actual number attached.
And the best part of all this is we don't need a paid media budget to play, right? A solo pro, us, we're a department of one. We can absolutely get that earned coverage and build up all of that great third party proof, right? You can't always outspend the big agency, but you can out earn them, which is a beautiful thing.
That's the whole thing, and the exact lever that moves believability the most is the
Yeah.
lever we are already built to pull. So AI didn't make us obsolete here. If anything, it just handed us the receipts.
I love it. I love it. All right, but because I'm always, as I say, the little black cloud. Le- let's foolproof this, right? Because I can hear a listener thinking, "Great, so AI just rewards earned media. I'll let the robots sort it out." We don't want to do that, do we? No.
And so the data says, yeah, not so fast. There's a third report. And by the way, we're going to link to all these reports because my memory, my notes may not be serving up the exact numbers correctly. So
It's all
we'll
good.
always have the link so that you can read them. But there's this third report from G2, and it's their answer economy study. And
Okay.
so they surveyed over 1,000 B2B software buyers. And there's this stat that says only 2% will buy from an AI recommended brand without verifying it first.
That's a great data point. So, I mean, think about it. 98 out of 100 people go and check.
Yeah. And 69% of them said they actually chose a different vendor than they had planned based on what they found when they checked. I think these are also little PR pros because you know us. We're not
Exactly.
going to take one piece of information. Bottom line, the AI conversation doesn't replace human trust. It leads into it or feeds into it.
Mhm.
So the buyer hears something from AI, but then they go hunting for proof.
And that's perfect, and that's an essential part of what we do, right? We're building that verification layer of, "Here's why you can trust us. Here are proof points," and it's what's sitting there waiting when they do go to confirm, and good for these, responders to this study. You're not
Yeah.
just believing the so-called AI slop that's being fed to you. Good deal.
That's it, exactly, and so I want our listeners to really sit with this.
Yeah.
AI it's getting better and better at producing content,
Mhm.
fast, cheap, endless. It's the thing that becomes scarce, and it's not projection, it's judgment.
Mhm.
Knowing which proof point actually moves believability for your client in this industry, or in whatever industry you're serving with this particular buyer. So, an AI tool can draft a press release in 9 seconds, but it can't tell you whether that particular um, tool is the right tactic at the right time. So, throughout this whole conversation, you may have sounded like we're like, push that earned media lever and push it only. But no, nothing ever divorces us from strategy and
Right.
from our expertise. And again, solo PR pro superpower. That's what we do.
Exactly. That's where our seasoned experience, that's where the experienced practitioner, us, that's where that comes in, right? The sharper your interpretation of what's really credible above what's noise is what is really gonna make those results happen. So, and I think
Yeah.
we've been seeing this across the, opinions on AI. Humanity still needed to discern.
Yeah.
Just
I
saying.
mean, and here's the thing, it's so situational, right? Because
Mhm.
something that is pure gold in one industry is, noise in another.
Yeah.
And so a tool does not know your industry's reputation map. It
Yeah.
doesn't know the particular outlet that carries weight with your client's buyer and the ones that don't. You know that, and that's not something that you can prompt your way to. It truly is earned.
Right. That's the total opposite of what we're being sold with AI, right? That AI makes experience obsolete. It couldn't be further from the truth. And, you know, I do feel for young practitioners coming up who need to get that. That's another episode for another day, but your experience matters.
It does. In believability economy, judgment is the mode and experience is the advantage, not the liability.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, we have to be honest, with the follow up, right? How do we actually decide? You're staring at a client and 10 possible proof points, right? Pick one, pick two.
Yeah. I mean, that's a real work, right?
Yeah.
It's genuinely hard to do that alone
Yeah.
because half the time you do wanna gut check it with somebody before you go spend a client's time and money.
Yeah.
Is this, particular piece of content, or this particular, tactic the right one? Is this the right outlet? Those aren't the questions that you can safely, ask out loud in public.
No, no, not without exposing the client or yourself or, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, here's a little, plug. Um, Full transparency. It's exactly why we have a solo PR Pro membership community because it
indeed.
is that room where you can ask these types of questions and get
Yep.
honest answers
Yep.
from people who've made that call before.
Yep.
And, I we have a little short handout on this for our members, and we'll be talking about this and discussing it more in our private community. But I do think it's important just to emphasize that these are times that, we are learning as we go along. Everyone is. Like, everyone started at the same point here. Things are shifting so fast, but I think you do need to rely on your judgment and don't be afraid to talk with colleagues that work like you do and have an understanding, and just check things because,
Yeah.
somebody may be further along in how they've worked at this than you are, and you can learn from them.
Yeah. And I mean, and we know the majority of comms pros are more than happy to lend a hand. I'm sure we can all count on at least one hand a few trusted people. I mean, I have even a graphic designer friend, we'll text each other like gut check me on this. And
Yes.
it's, the community is out there for sure. So let's bring this home, right? Our listeners are on their Monday walk right now, listening to this episode. What should they do when they get back to their office, Karen?
I mean, I think one easy thing to do first is to go and ask an AI tool what it says about your client right now. Well, we could go on about
Mm,
why that's really important. And then you want to
yeah,
read the answers that come back just like a skeptical buyer would. And I think, again, solo PR pros, this is natural for us.
yeah.
Ask yourself, would they believe this? Where is it leaning on the brand's own claims versus real, verifiable third-party proof?
And it's the new version of Google yourself, right? And that's something
Yes,
we can all do in 10, 15 minutes and might freak us out a little, but that's a good thing usually. It means it's a good change that we need to be
yeah,
made and further proof of how necessary we are,
yeah.
I
I
think.
mean, but it rattles us
Yeah,
in a
you
useful
know?
way, right? So then I
Yeah,
think the next step that
totally.
you can yeah, next step you can take is, take an hour, maybe less, um, an hour that you would normally spend polishing the executive's voice and redirect it to harvest one piece of third party proof, chase a review, send one pitch, find
Mhm.
one recognition that's worth going after.
That's fabulous, and taking that hour of time that you might spend on the least believable asset and invest it in the most believable one, that's gold.
Yeah. That that's a whole episode in a single move. How about that?
Love it. I love it. I love this episode. I love this thoughts. It's another one that's, We inspire ourselves. But, it
Yeah.
doesn't end in doom. It ends with us being even more relevant, which we knew at a base gut level, but now we have, as you said earlier, we got receipts.
Yeah. And I mean, the thread that we keep pulling on the show is that, the tools do change constantly, but judgment does not go out of style.
No, no. So here's our question for you this week, listeners, and we genuinely want your answer. So hit us up at soloprpro.com or in the comments wherever you're hearing or viewing this. Have you actually checked what AI says about your clients lately? And would your buyers believe it? Tell us. It's okay. If we giggle,
Love
we're going to
that.
giggle amongst ourselves. We're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you because we're all there.
Absolutely. So drop it in the comments or, come talk with us
Yeah.
inside Solo PR Pro. That Solo Life is a product of the Solo PR Pro community where solo and small shop pros get the private, safe space to ask the questions that you can't ask out in public.
And it's one of the very best places ever. Thanks for spending time with us. I'm Michelle Kane.
And I'm Karen Swen, and we'll see you next time on That Solo Life.